In this video, we're going to make a soup and stock from a fish head. A friend of mine recently returned from a successful fishing trip off the coast of Oregon and was generous enough to give me the head of his halibut that he caught. This halibut head is usually thrown away in the dumpster as waste, but it actually is one of the most flavorful part of the fish and contains quite a bit of meat. Halibut are a strange looking fish that lie on the bottom of the ocean. They're a flatfish, and they're born with eyes on both sides of their head, but as they grow, one of those eyes actually moves over to the point where both eyes are resting on the upper side of the fish that is camouflaged. The other side is white because it's always laying on the bottom of the ocean, and they can sit and wait to ambush prey with these sharp teeth. The first step in making halibut head soup is to remove the gills. They can give an off flavor and are just good to remove. My tool of choice for cutting out the gills is a good stout pair of kitchen shears. You just cut the bottoms and tops and firmly pull it out. And you go back and make sure you got all the little fragments of gills so that they're completely clean. I then cut off the head at the base of the spine right above the gills just to make sure that everything fits in the pot okay. And once you clean that up, throw all your fish head and fins right in the stock pot and cover it with a little bit of water. You don't want too much water in the stock pot, just enough to cover the fish lightly and not water down our stock. I also like to enhance the flavors in our fish stock by adding some vegetables and shellfish. Traditionally, vegetables added to a fish stock are celery, carrots, and onions. Since I'm into wild foraging, I'm going to substitute the celery with cattail stalks, and instead of using onions, I'll use wild onions, and the substitute for carrot will be yampa root. Along with the wild root vegetables, I'm going to add the heads of a crawfish or crawdad. I already enjoyed the tails of these crawfish, but instead of throwing the heads out, I saved them for the fish stock because they are full of flavor and a really good thing to have around when you're making fish stock. So we're now ready to add all our extra vegetables and shellfish to our stock. I also included a pinch of salt for some extra flavor and then turned it on a low heat to bring it up to a light simmer. I let it cook at this light simmer for about 20 minutes just so that that fish head really cooks and the meat starts to fall off the bone. When your fish head is done cooking, you'll notice that your stock has turned to a nice, rich, creamy color, and you're now ready to remove all the solids and take out that fish head to remove the meat. I also ran the stock through a strainer just to make sure to get all the solids out. After cooking down the stock to intensify the flavors a little more, I wanted to save some of the extra to use in soups later on in the year. So I poured the extra in different jars and making sure not to fill it up all the way because I'm going to put this in the freezer and let it freeze and then later put the lid on. If you fill it up or put the lid on in the freezer, it will break the glass. But it's a great way to be able to use this stock in the next few months when you're ready to make fish soup. I didn't want to waste any of the meat that's still on the fish head, so I started picking off all the little pieces of meat from the bones and putting them in a bowl. I'm going to use that for a soup. Another part of a fish that sometimes people eat are the eyeballs, and I've never tried them, so I thought I'd pull those out and give them a try too. They've turned really hard like little marbles, so it'll be interesting to see what they taste like. But just picked up all the bones, and this is the meat I got. I added some stock to it, and it's a real basic soup, but I'm really excited to try it and see how it tastes. So here's a soup made from the halibut head meat and stock, and it is full of flavor. I think some of the best flavor on the fish is in the head. And then I was also able to get quite a bit of stock that I froze, so I'll be using these in later recipes, and it's just really, really good flavor and a good way to use a part of the fish that normally gets thrown out. So now I'm going to enjoy my halibut head stew and the little delicacies of the two little eyeballs. It's so good. It's not overly fishy, and it's just, the broth is so smooth. It's delicious. It's a really, really good recipe. It's simple. Now I'm going to try those two halibut eyeballs. They turn hard and white. Super chewy, but not bad. Just weird texture. But look at how much meat's in that soup. It's so good. I'll be enjoying this for a while.